Okay, this workshop is all about what can you do to the surface of your paper, okay? How can you change the way it looks? Like, for example, either you're choosing a canvas or you're doing canvas paper. Either one, you can actually do these techniques too. So you can start off with something that's not flat. Okay? You can add things, or you can change the surface. You can also actually, sand down some of the paint that we've done. So some of the techniques that we're going to be using is going to be starting off with Modge Podge. Now, Modge Podge is, I'm going to just let you know, it's stinky stuff. Okay? So when you actually are working with it, we're going to probably need to put like a fan or something on it, or possibly, like air it out. But it's a basic concept that's really neat. Okay, so we're going to start off by just, taking a little bit of glue. Now, with this glue, okay, it is very important, it is super important that you wash the brushes off afterwards, okay? Because you don't want glue getting caught in it. What I would suggest is by the sink, there is an actual soap, a large soap, that you can wash the brushes with afterwards. All you have to do is just dip it in water, swirl it around the soap, scrub the brush, and just rinse it off, okay? All right, so the glue. So I'm gonna just pull out a few, I'm not looking for a lot, okay? Different things that we can utilize. And I think I'm gonna tear a little bit of this off. Now, what you would end up doing is you would be layering this first, okay? Whether you want some of this to be exposed or not to be exposed is up to you and how you do your project, okay? Now, the Modge Podge that we're going to be using, okay, a little hard to see in the background, okay, this is a little bit of a gloss medium. Now, it may be a little hard to paint on because it's glossy, but it should be okay. If it really gives you a tough, job later, maybe take one of the little sandpaper blocks, okay, and you can rough it up. All right, so how to put this down and what are the different techniques? So basically what you start off with is you're painting the surface that you're going to be doing, okay? Paint the surface, apply, kind of paint it down to stick it, okay? Not that hard. Now when you paint over this, you'll get the texture of this, okay? Or if you choose to like expose it, be like, okay, well I'm gonna put details here and I don't want it to show, you can do that. So that's really neat. Paper, same thing. You can add layers of paper. It's real cool. Now, one thing that's really neat, okay, now this is not a huge workshop, this one, so is adding tissue paper, adding texture so it looks like it's really neat. Now how you start off is that you take your tissue paper, okay, and you're going to crumple it up. You don't want to rip it, but you just want to create so it has a wrinkled surface. Carefully undo it. There we go. Ooh, that's nice. Okay? Same thing you did here before. Do the area. Okay. Press this down. Now, it can be super wrinkly. Doesn't have to be, okay? All the way through. Take this, glue it down. Now, I have some overlapping areas, which is neat. Okay. Now, obviously, I would do this all the way to the edge of my paper, but I am not going to worry about it. Actually, I'm going to pull up some of these areas because I don't want to do that whole thing. There we go. Nice. Okay. So some of the neat things that you can do here is if you have this down, okay, I'm even like playing around and putting like little pieces right here, which you can totally do. You can have like one spot have just a little texture and the rest not. There we go. Oh, that's good. what you would do is you'd let this dry, and you can actually paint over. You can do a dry brush, and you can just, you know, paint the whole thing, and then just take a dry brush and go over it very carefully, and you'll get kind of like a really neat texture. You can just have things lay over, and when you're painting, they could be exposed underneath. Now, this one's really neat. Okay, excuse me. As I said, this is a stinky one, all right? So, gotta be aware of that. Now, this is really neat. So, for example, right up here, I was working with some, actually, let's move it. That one's still a little wet. Right here, we had this nice shading with the, there we go, with the paint, okay? You can actually take it and sand it. So it actually has a nice smooth effect, okay? You actually take down some of the paint, but it gives you a nice smooth effect. It doesn't feel so grainy. So you can easily do that. If you do too much, there is a possibility you'll go right through the paper, okay? Or your the mat or the board that you're using. So here, they're not huge that you're gonna do. You're probably gonna have a piece of paper half the size of this, okay, that you're gonna be working with. And you most definitely can try this on other stations as well. And that's pretty much it. So as I said, you can definitely alter the surface of your paper. You can put down things. If you had like other stuff, for example, like sand, you could easily glue sand down, and you could actually paint over the sand and gives it like a grainy look, which is really neat. Anything. Right, and when you're done with this workshop, as I said, remember that you need to definitely wash the glue out of the brushes. Do not ruin the brushes, okay? So you wash them if you need to. As I said, there's glue, you know, there's paintbrush, soap by the sink, okay? You want to get it all out. All right, this way is kind of moving around. And make sure that the whole workshop station is all cleaned up, so the next person is ready to be able to start with a nice clean station.